Welcome back to MMA Unhinged. I'm joined by Alex Easy Polizzi. Alex, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Luke?
I'm doing good. Sorry, let me just get my audio here. Yeah, great. Thanks for joining. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. I had a little bit of time between training and getting ready for this next fight, and love to talk it up.
Of course, of course. Let's jump right into it. We're just over a month out. How are you feeling? And how's fight camp? I see you got a little bit of a shiner there.
Yeah, the obvious signs of good training. Feeling good. Besides the superficial sort of stuff and the normal wear and tear, we're feeling great. We're getting ready. This is my first time back since the last fight with Yoel, and everything's uh, ready to go, rearing, and just getting in some good training here in Las Vegas at Extreme Couture with a bunch of real murderers. So if there's anybody to prepare you for a fight in a cage, it's those guys.
Of course. You were originally supposed to fight more about a month ago. What was the reason for that?
I'm not entirely sure. I got a call about 2 weeks out from my manager that says, "Hey, bad news. It's getting pushed to Chicago." I mean, silver lining, get to go back to the Midwest, but I'll tell you what, it still stings a little bit because fighting in Hawaii is pretty neat.
And because once you heard that news, were you, if that fight had taken place last month, would you have been pretty prepared, or do you feel like you have that extra time and now you'd be more prepared?
you know, um, it's we're all developing fighters. Everybody's moving forward and constantly working on their game. So I feel like physically, mentally, I was ready. We were ready to go. But now that we have another month and a half or so to build on, I might just have a few more tricks and be a little sharper with what we've been working on.
Well, and it's been pretty much over a year since your last fight. Obviously, I know you had some injuries from your previous fight, and I know you just said it does sting that the fight didn't happen when it did. How excited are you now that you finally know, hopefully, this fight's going to happen now?
Yeah, it's really exciting to get back into the cage. Being laid up for so long, it takes a toll on you. And I mean, we're athletes. We're here to do what we're paid to do. Nobody wants to be benched. So it's just exciting to be back in the cage and to show you guys and to show everybody, what I've been working on since with a little bit of time off, as far as working on the mental stuff when my jaw wouldn't allow me to get back into the cage, and the physical stuff once we were back to moving, rolling.
Now, I don't want to recap too much about your last bout, but I just want to ask, how long did it take for your jaw for everything to heal?
For anybody out there who's thinking, jaw isn't that bad, it's 6 months. My surgeon gave me 6 months before I could go and play with my friends and punch each other in the face again. So that included about 6 weeks of completely wired shut, another 8 weeks on top of that of rubber bands, and then the rest of the time it was just let's get your jaw back to full strength. So if you can avoid it, try not to get that jaw broken, everybody.
Yeah, no, not anytime soon. And for people that don't know what that's like. What was your diet like?
Yeah. I joked around a little bit and made reference to the Kanye West song "Through the Wire." Uh, an insure for dessert, and really I was not eating. I was just drinking meal replacements. We're talking boost shakes, we're talking Slim Fast, we're talking whatever. Um, and when those got to be a little bit like um, too much sweet all the time, sweet and sweet and sweet. I tried to switch things up, tried to drink some tomato soup, but I found that the pieces pieces of seasoning in the tomato was too much to go through my teeth. So what ended up happening was I take some V8 and I'd pour some V8 and I'd blend some canned fish into it. And when I needed a little bit more protein or some savory to combat all the sweet, that's what I was at. Not fun.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're doing better and you're fit and you're ready to go here. Now, let's fast forward to your fight with Karl Moore. You both are pretty much in the pack here in terms of the rankings. Would you say, how more important is this fight than maybe any other previous fights you've had?
I've said and I mean, just kind of harping home again, the importance of getting back into it, getting back into the cage, showing you guys that, there's still a lot of fight in me and I got a lot more left to show. But as far as rankings and, opponents go, I'm not really kind of follow it too much. I get the updates on my Instagram about, Bellator tagging me in rankings, but there's a lot of things to think about in this MMA world. Punches and kicks and takedowns and elbows and knees. I try not to concern myself with a lot of that extra stuff. And again, this sounds cliche of like, I'm just looking forward to the next fight, but I think that it's important to know where you stand and know how much exactly that you can put on your plate. And I found that just focusing on the next one works for me.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Now, looking at your opponent, where do you see yourself giving Karl Moore some problems?
As far as my game plan going in and fighting Karl, it's my game plan remains unchanged. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not gonna come out and you're not gonna see me throwing flying side kicks off the side of the cage. The ears give me away. I'm a wrestler at heart, so I'm gonna try to brawl, gonna try to get in nice and close, keep that fight dirty, tiring, drag him into deep water, and try to see if we can get a submission or at least a little bit of ground and pound damage and pull out that win.
Every fighter, you learn for each fight, win or lose. What are some things that you might have? What are some things that you learned from your previous fight that you might implement into this fight?
Some of the same stuff that we've been working on just gets hammered home, making sure that I'm there to fight my fight. Whether the opponent is Karl Moore or Yoel Romero, I got to make sure that I'm sticking to my guns. I'm making sure I'm using what works for me and what I've been working on in the practice room, and just making sure that we're continuing to develop that striking into grappling into striking, keeping things fresh and frankly confusing enough that stuff lands, because like I said, MMA is a complicated sport. We got lots of different martial arts in the mix, and there's defenses out of each one. Yet each martial art, then we'll talk about the different way to defend against an opposing martial art. So there's a lot at play, and you got to be able to mix things up and find the techniques that work right for you.
Excellent. And I know you're focused on this match at the moment, but looking down the line, there's a lot of guys in the rankings that are behind you and in front of you there. Is there any guys that maybe that you previously fought that you might like to get a win back against?
Yeah, definitely running it back and trying to work it back against any of my previous opponents is always something I look forward to. I'm always building as an athlete. Really, I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to project the career of Yoel Romero. He's going for the title at the same event that I'm going to, and might be a little bit early to run that one back. But I know in Julius Anglicas, we had a battle, and I think that if I were given the chance again, I might fight him a little differently and be able to show the fans and and Bellator themselves that, I'm still learning tricks. I'm still developing, and maybe give him a little bit of a run with that previous win he has over me.
Excellent, excellent, man. I just want a couple more for you because I know you're in fight camp here. So I got to ask, this is the first time I've ever talked with you. How did you get the name Easy?
It was from an old teammate of mine, fought for the PFL for a little bit, and some Russian, Alex Gilpin. We trained at Chosen Few in Madison together. And it was when I was an amateur. I was coming up. I think it was my second amateur fight. And as a lot of former wrestlers go, the matches tend to be heavily in the wrestler's favor, especially in the amateur level. And I think after the second fight, I came back and, to the gym. Oh, congratulations. Good job, Alex. He said, oh man, you made that look easy. Realization, easy, Polizzi. Everybody loves a good rhyme scheme. And then it just kind of stuck.
And another thing I don't know about yet, have you got that RV sponsorship deal yet?
Oh, a tumultuous relationship between me and who's ever in charge, because I have the email address for the head of marketing. And what'll happen a lot of times is I think maybe I'm a little too eager. So far we haven't reached an agreement yet, but we're still working on it, because they do have the meats, and that's really all I want.
That's true. That's true. What would be your favorite sandwich there?
My favorite sandwich there? It's hard to go wrong with the classic beef and cheddar, but I do like the gyro. The gyro that they serve is, again, I'm going to get flack because I'm talking about a gyro out of a fast food place. But as far as fast food gyros go, it's one of the best ones there is.
I don't know. I think you might get a lot of hate. A lot of people like that original beef. So
the original beef. Hold on. The original beef is good. Credit where credit's due. But sometimes you got to mix things up a little bit. And it's this. They throw on that beef, and it's not like I'm going to go there and I get one sandwich anyway. Come on, you get 3 or 4. Maybe get yourself a little Jamocha shake on the side. Man, now you got me hungry, Luke. Come on.
For sure. And just a few more for you here. What's an ideal fight schedule for you this year? You got a fight next month. How would you see the rest of the month, or the rest of the year? Sorry.
Yeah. So we're fighting now here in June. I was hoping to get something a little earlier, but schedules and things getting pushed and whatnot. If I could fight, again, making sure that we're not looking forward too much. We want all the stuff to develop. But if all goes well, I'd like to fight another couple times if I can after the Chicago one. We'll see if we could get a one here kind of at the end of the summer, maybe middle of fall, and then maybe late winter. But we'll see how stuff goes, and we'll keep training and as usual, as long as nothing crazy happens at this next fight. Training for me, I'm always in there. I don't take big breaks off. This is my full-time job. This is what I love doing. So if there's a fight to be had out there, Bellator knows that they can call me up, and I'll be on a plane soon enough.
Well, excellent, Alex. I'm glad to hear that. We're all excited to see you fight again, to get back in the cage. And again, I just want to thank you again for taking the time to let us interview. And good luck in your fight.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Luke.